Today we're going to talk a little bit more on mental health and well-being. And within the Top Blokes Foundation, one course that we do look at specifically is the range of emotions that young men experience. And more critically, we look at how we deal with them. And it's important how we deal with that range of emotions. And I wanted to know, like, what do you do to regulate your emotions?
Yeah, it's really interesting. My whole life I thought it was training, which I do think plays a massive role in regulating my emotions and exerting energy. And I've trained most of my life. Like, I played basketball before I started boxing at the age of 9, and I've always been very active. I've always had a lot of energy. But I did this challenge when I think it was 2019. I do these uncomfortable challenges, and I did 50 hours no talking, and I love to talk, so it was really tough. And by the end of the 50 hours, I genuinely felt like I was going to implode. Like, I literally was like, oh my God, like, and I realized that although training plays a massive role in regulating my emotions, for me, talking is actually a massive aspect as well, a massive pillar to regulate my emotions. And for me, I very much just like have a really active brain. I have no idea if it's more active than other people, but I just know that it's so manic and active. And I think talking has always been a place for me that I can go to talk about what's actually going on, and I'm navigating it as I'm speaking. I'm sort of like puzzling the words together as I'm working it out right in front of my eyes. So talking and training has definitely been a way that I've regulated my emotions.
What were some habits you picked up on, good or bad, so say, when you were struggling?
The bad one would probably be instant gratification. So instant gratification would be doom scrolling, or would be turning to a negative addiction, or just getting that thing that gives you that quick fix now, whether that be eating the bad food, or going out with my friends and drinking when I don't feel like I probably should drink, when I'm feeling a little bit more negative inside myself. So instant gratification is definitely more of a negative one. The positive side is probably the flip side of that, is honoring my word. So when I say I'm going to do something, actually do it, right? And I always like to start small, because when I'm feeling a little bit negative, sometimes setting a big goal to do the next day is actually quite challenging, and then it actually makes you feel a little bit more negative when you don't achieve it. So it's starting small, and it could be just waking up at a certain time and choosing to do something. It could be meditating, but it's like honoring my word, saying you're going to do something. Start small and actually doing it. And then when you start feeling a little bit more positive because you've started to honor your word, then start growing it and do better and more and bigger things. But yeah, that's definitely the two for me.
I actually just really want to reiterate what you said. So in order to smash out those bad habits, what you do is you slowly, in a sense, grow a seed by doing smaller good habits, and eventually those good habits get bigger over time. And within 1 to 2 weeks time, you're back on track, back out of that rut.
Yeah.
I really like that. Thanks, man.
It's a big thing, because I think how often in a month do we set little goals for ourselves? And it's like, if you're consistently not upholding those goals with yourself, or those promises you make for yourself, you eventually stop making them, because you don't think that you'll live up to it, and then you start feeling more and more negative about yourself. So I just think you start small, and then just start adding little things as well, because then you start feeling more positive. You're honoring yourself. You're taking care of yourself.
Another thing is, what's some advice that you've got for young men struggling with identity and self-worth? What's some advice you could give out to them, so to say?
Find your community and become capable. Yeah, I think opening up, finding your community is really important, and becoming capable, right? And that could come in many different forms. You could be doing things that, as I said, I keep talking about this flame. We all have a flame, right? And just, it could be you like to journal, you like to hang out with your friends, you like to ride your bike, whatever it is. Find that thing that sort of adds fuel to your flame and become capable. Feel good when you're doing it. And I think and it's like, if you don't know what that thing is, which many people, I don't think, my dad's a prime example. He's deep into his 50s, and I don't think he's fully found a passion. And I just think it's up to us, right, to try things. Especially at a young age, it's exciting. We can, under the age of 30, our body's still mostly intact, and for most people, and we can try things, and we can push ourselves out of our comfort zone, but find those things that light you up and do it, and become capable and feel good inside your body when you're doing it, and then also find the community that accepts you for you, which is pretty important.
Harry, you do a lot. How do you balance this? Like, how do you balance your career with your personal life? And I actually want to touch back maybe a little bit further because you said you started boxing when you were really young. How did you balance boxing, with school?
It's a good question. I think enjoyment has been a big thing for me. It's like smiling through it, like and enjoying it. I think I was really grateful that I feel like the luckiest guy on earth. As I said before, like my dad is deep into his 50s, never really found a passion. And I found my passion. I found something that makes me feel really, really happy and I enjoy it at the age of 9. Like, how lucky am I? So I think like smiling and enjoying and when life gets a little bit too, I'm juggling like 300 balls and I'm really sort of struggling, just like enjoying it. Like I never thought in a million different years that I would be doing this, that I'll be sitting here with you guys getting interviewed about something. Like I never thought that, right? I'm sort of pinching myself all the time and just enjoying it, like enjoying it. Like I think we only get one shot at this. And yeah, just try and find the things that you find enjoyment in. And even from the times where it's stressful or you start to feel like you can't juggle as many balls as you want, just like really sort of sit back and reflect that like I dreamed of this and I'm living my dream right now. It's a wild, wild thought, right?
Good on you.
Very, very inspirational to hear that as well from you. But another big thing is like, what were like some past struggles and that in your life, so say that like sort of shaped you into the person that you are today, you feel?
Oh, there's been a number. I think failing in sport is inevitable, and failing in life is also inevitable. But yeah, that's probably been a big thing that you always, I hate saying it, but you always do learn more from a failure than you do from a win. I think breakups have always been quite tough as well for myself. And I think for the men in my life, it's always been pretty challenging for them too. And I think I've noticed that a lot of men, when they've gone through breakups in my life, it's like they've run away from it from a long time and they've turned to something else and they've just distracted themselves from feeling that heartbreak, that sorrow, that pain from a breakup. And I think then a year later, 18 months later, they go and like, oh my God, like what's going on inside? I feel really unhappy. And it's because I assume that they've probably never sat down and actually thought about that breakup and what it meant to them. And I think I've done that a number of times too. You run away, distract. And I think I went through one semi recently, and I think just trying to attack it more front on and feeling the emotions in the moment rather than running away and pushing away the inevitable that's going to hit me in 18 months' time. So I think they're probably the two areas: failing in life and heartbreak for sure.
I really like that you've mentioned embracing pain, and rather than running it, you got to feel it. And I want to actually take what you've said back a little bit. And when I mentioned before, and when you mentioned before about boxing being a passion, and when I mentioned about boxing and then juggling it like with your spare time back when you were in school and even now, you said it was a passion. And you love it, but I know you can't love all the time, like getting whacked in the face. So when you're at like your low parts of boxing, like it was hurting, it was tough, and it was very you would say it was a lot of discipline. Like how would you even still come home and then show up the next day?
It's tough, and that's the thing. Like I think the human experience, what makes it so good is the fact that it is a roller coaster. You're never fully up on the top of the roller coaster, or like sometimes you're down the bottom and you're really struggling, right? And I think it's more like habits and rituals, and that does come back to like discipline. If it's like a habit, what I found growing up, if I was at home watching Deal or No Deal, I don't even know if you remember that show, but it's still on. So it's on about 5 p.m. during the week. If I was home watching Deal or No Deal, something's wrong, because I was always at the gym 4:30 till 6:30, Monday to Friday. So if I was home watching Deal or No Deal, I'm thinking I've either broken my leg or like something's really going on. So I think habits and rituals, and make it just part of yourself, right? Like every day, it was a bit of a routine. We are habitual creatures. We love habits. We love routine. We love similarity in our day-to-day. And I think, boxing was just very much part of that. So even on the tough days, you sort of just got to like just get up and do it, because you're just so used to doing it, right? And I think if someone hasn't yet formed a habit, hasn't yet formed a ritual. It's just like sometimes it'll be a little thing like packing your bag with you so you don't have a chance to go home, or find that thing. So it's like you have no choice. You have to actually do it, right? You've got the bag with you. You're not going home. You sit down on the couch. It's like you're out for the count. So I think it's just like putting things in place so you have the best chance, because life will be up and down, and that's just how.
All right.
Yeah.
So would you say even if it sucks, like, but you love it and it's good for you, take it?
And 99% of those sessions that I've not wanted to do, after I've done it, I've always felt better.
I like that.
99% of them, right? Of course, there's one where you're like, oh, I just really didn't want to
But
do
like you said, that's
very
life.
rare. It's very rare, right?
Yeah.
So 99% of the times when you push through, you always feel better after.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.